Welcome to the Life's Necessities and Luxuries radio show. Today our host, Dawn Marie Mutel, your life's commodities broker, will bring you fashion, beauty tips, business acumen, teach you where to find the life's greatest necessities and the finest luxuries. Now, here's Dawn Marie.
Hey there, welcome aboard. Dawn Marie speaking. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to get some great tips on how to make some big changes in our lives today and how we can actually get some better results than we're typically used to getting, and also how we can become more empowered and live the best life possible. So today's guest is Victoria Hargis. She is the author of Raw Leadership, Awaken Your Power Within. She works with women who want to change the world, and she wants to show them how to access their inner leadership, claim their place in the world, and help them connect with their purpose, which then allows them to accomplish their goals. And she teaches them how to live a life by design and not by default. So since we have a little bit of time today, I really want to get going. So let's welcome Victoria to the show. Hey, Victoria, how's it going today?
Hi, it's going great, and I want to thank you for having me on the show. And I'm really excited about sharing what I know and getting any feedback and from you and asking great questions. So that'll be great.
Awesome. And as we both know, our time here is very short today. So is it okay with you that I kind of just jump right in?
Sure. Go right ahead.
Okay. Perfect. My first question to you is actually, this topic is so broad and there's so many different things to cover, but I see you help many people rediscover themselves, and you help them release their old fears and to basically start their lives. So, you mentioned there's like 4 belief systems that you feel that they need to change to get to the different results. What would they be?
Okay, there's really only 4 things you have to change in order to make different results in your life. So if you've been doing the same thing and you're getting the same result, you need to look at these 4 things. And the 4 things are, you have to change how you feel about the situations that come up in your life. You have to change how you behave. You have to change which people and situations that you're attracted to or that you attract into your life. And then you have to change the meanings that you assign to what happens. And would you like me to explain it further? Because sometimes it's hard to take in. Okay, good.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we each grow up and we develop a map of reality that we live off of. That's why so many times when multiple people view or see the same crime happening, their witness statements don't match, because we each see something different based on what is on our current map of reality. It's the things that are on our map are the things that our parents taught us, our teachers taught us, the authority figures, the peers in our life, the things that we've been exposed to on TV and in our books and in radio, and all the different things that come into us is what develops the map of reality. It's pretty well formed by the time you're 7, and then you just continue to add to it. Now, when you bring this information in to yourself and incorporate it as a memory, the thing about it is there's so much information that you can't possibly store it all. Because if you just think about while you're sitting here in your chair, you're not even consciously probably aware of if there's an insect in the corner or if, the wind current, because you're not concentrating on it. You're concentrating on this interview. So there are probably things that are happening. Could be a change in temperature, could be all sorts of different things that are happening that you don't even put into you don't even take notice of. And we all do that, because there's no way we can possibly bring in every bit of information that is out there. There's just not enough space in our brain to do that, or consciousness, the ability to stay conscious enough to do that. So what we do is when we put it into our map, there's 3 things that we do. We modify it, we just forget part of it, or we generalize it. So, for example, it's great. We have to do that. Because everything we learn, we have to create a pattern for it so that we can actually not spend our entire lives learning how to climb a set of stairway every time we come to a new set. So you learned how to climb it once, you do it automatically. You don't have to think about it. But if you had to come to a new stairway and had to learn again how to step up that stairway, it would take a lot of time in your life. So patterns are really, really good, and our map of reality is really, really good. It's just that when that map is not resourceful to getting us the things in our life that we want, that we have to examine it and look at it and see how it is stopping us from getting the results that we want in life. So, I can go on and explain it a little bit further, and I'm not sure, like, how you feel.
Please do.
Okay, so how you feel. Okay, so the first thing is how to get different results is changing 4 things. You have a thought, and that thought turns into an emotion. So maybe you see somebody cut you off in traffic, and then you either get really angry or you laugh. I kind of laugh because I think it's kind of funny as long as there's no accident. Okay, right. And I know if I get angry, that it doesn't hurt the other person at all. The only person it hurts when I get angry is me. So it's not resourceful for me to get angry about something that is, minor, okay, for the most part, as long as you don't get in an accident. So you have to change how you feel. So you only have a quarter of a second between the thought and the feeling. Now, I could get angry at the person that cuts me off in traffic, and it could wreck the rest of my day if I let it, okay? Or I can let it go and then just go on with my day. Just let whatever happens be okay. Okay, so that's how you feel. How you behave. This is always a hard one, too, because we all like to think that our map of reality is the truth, okay? And yet every single person has a different map, so whose map is correct? Okay, so when you run into somebody that triggers you, like they just don't do things the way you think that they should do them, the right way. We all run into that.
I don't mean to chuckle, but I can think of a couple of instances right off the top of my head.
Right.
Go ahead.
So we all can, can't we? So by changing how you behave, so like say it's your brother-in-law, and he's a jerk or whatever. And it's the same conversation that you've had at every Thanksgiving dinner that you've ever gone to. And you can change how you behave. So you can just not engage, and that changes the whole situation, okay? Because you won't know what to do, right? Because he's waiting for that competitor or that opponent that he can engage with.
Right,
so
that reaction.
That reaction. If you change how you behave, you change the entire situation. Okay? So changing how you feel keeps you in a more resourceful energy. Changing how you behave changes the entire situation, so you actually get to experience something different. It might be a pleasant occasion because you just had your old brother-in-law, they were not sure what to do. And then the third one is which people and situations you attract or become attracted to. And this sometimes is a hard one, but the easiest way to see this is we all know those people, hopefully it's not ourselves, who attract and marry the same person over and over again, only it's a different name. It's in a different body, but it's the same person.
Yeah, I had that pattern for a while. It's not good.
No, it's not good. But what happens is you learned that pattern of who to be attracted to as you were growing up. And it's all done unconsciously. We're not even consciously aware that we're doing it until you become aware and you say, that ain't happening again. You don't attract that kind of person. So until you become aware, you're going to attract the same people over and over again, or the same kind of situation over and over again. But once you become aware of it and can watch yourself do it, you'll stop yourself because you want different results. Okay, so you need to become aware of it. Now the fourth one is what meanings you assign to what happens. We can assign many different meanings to things. Okay. I'll give you an example. This morning I was I get angry. Not very often, but I do. And I was on a certain government website and on the support line with them. And I have been on the same support line probably about 12 hours in the last 3 months, trying to resolve this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I feel your pain.
Yeah. So
I've been there.
this time, I've been good. I've been behaving right and being gracious and, just yes, this is what I need. What can you do? Blah, 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 blah. And I blew it today. I was just so frustrated. Yeah, because I need this form to do my taxes.
Right.
And when I got told again it could take another month, I blew it.
A month?
And I got angry. And I said, this is PG. I said, this is effing unreal, okay? I didn't say the word. I said just effing. Which I don't usually, on a call. I'm usually very gracious. So the person on the support line got a little just ticked off at me. I was using
now
that language.
You're cussing. Right.
Right. And I apologized, and I realized even though that got me angry, so it took me like a little while to calm down from that, but my behavior changed towards her. I really did become much more gracious. But I had to resolve the non-resourceful feeling of anger that I had invoked. Okay, so it was,
it's very totally understandable, because it is frustrating when you can't get something very simple where you get downloaded online and just print it out, or it just doesn't work that way.
Right. And since I was in the tech field for so many years, when somebody tells me all you have to do is push the button, and there's no button on the website.
That's too funny. But you were aware of your feelings, and so you were able to change it.
Yeah, I was.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is. Because there are times in the past when I've gotten angry, and what happens is I usually go off to calm down by myself, but I'm fuming. In the past I had been fuming for a while until I had either eaten enough stuff to numb me or just went and zoned out on TV or whatever. In fact, one time I ran away from home.
Sorry. This is too funny.
It wasn't funny because I didn't run away with
No, it's not funny.
I didn't think it out, okay? So I ran away with no clothes. There was a sprayer in the back seat of the car that I could spray pesticides with. I don't know what I was going to do with that.
It's your mace.
It was my mace.
Sure, it's not.
I think I had $20 in cash. I did have a credit card.
That's good. That's good. Very, 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 very necessary.
Yeah. So I was gone a week. Yeah. I stopped and bought clothes. It was on sale. Bought clothes.
Wow.
Bought a tent. Bought a sleeping bag. Went and camped out for a week.
I give you a lot of credit for doing that, though, because I'm sure you needed to do that to clear your head and get back on track.
I did. Well, I think now I would do it a little bit differently, but it was a pretty good week.
Now you'll pack a bag.
Now I'll pack the bag and probably, yes.
That's right. That is like, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just want to say that one thing about this laughter that we're doing, that is one of the best ways to change your resonance and to change your emotional response to things. If we can laugh at it, it makes it better.
Oh, without a doubt. I always said if I wasn't laughing, I'd be crying. So, it's when you have a lot of struggle and a lot of challenges, I know I faced millions of them over my time, and I have had to laugh it off. And, because otherwise I'll just fall into this, deep pit, and to get out of it, it would take me forever.
Right. It will. And so we like to think that, the anger is going to really help us, or the frustration is going to push us through, but we're actually going to push through a lot easier if we're in a very calm state and a very happy state. We'll actually help the universe give us what we want, rather than, banging our head against the wall. So, yeah.
And doesn't it also, in that frame of mind, isn't that where you can get, you can touch your creativity a little bit easier and, get into that frame of mind from that space?
Definitely, most definitely. And I don't know how much your users or listeners know about the scale of the emotional vibration, because we all want to
No, but if you can talk about that, that would be awesome.
I can talk about it. So this was done, this has been done by a lot of different people in the energy and the healing field, was that they determined which different emotions resonated at which level. Okay, so, and the whole concept behind it is to stay at 500 or above. So it's 0 to 1,000. You want to stay at 500 or above. If you stay at 500 or above, you can bring things into your life easier than if you stay below it. Okay, so, for example, anger is pretty low on the scale. It's just like, it's not helping you at all.
It's at the zero, the negative zero.
Well, it's not really that far below, but it's not really helping you very much. If you stay at 500 or above, you can actually bring it into your field pretty easily. You can bring it into your environment. You can see it. You can
bring it to fruition, whatever it is that you're looking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. I was having
You're welcome.
For some reason. So, for example, now let's just talk about the ones that are above 500, which is really kind of weird because you would think some of these would be above 500, like you would think courage would be above 500, but so often courage is actually, it's not as low as some of them. It's like at 200, I think.
Wow.
What it is think about what courage comes from. It usually comes from fear or frustration or maybe anger or, grief, or there's a lot of different things it can come from. So those are lower vibrations. Okay, so even though courage is a higher one than them, it still is based on lower emotions. Okay, so the ones at 500 or above, you got to think things like love, joy, peace, gratitude, and enlightenment. Now, very few of us humans are going to hit enlightenment because that's more like Jesus and Mohammed and the Buddha and, people that have spent their lifetime reaching that state of enlightenment. And I don't even know if they all are enlightened or not. I'm just giving examples. So of those three, the ones that I mentioned, the love, the peace, and the joy and gratitude, if I asked you to get into love right now, could you do it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I don't know if everybody, well, that's the thing. It's like to be able to change your mind like within in a flash. I mean, I had to train myself to do certain things.
Yes.
Because I used to have a negative talk going on when I was younger, and it was just because my brother was verbally abusive. And so even though there was this other side that was confident, and the other side is the negative talk, I had learned something from like Tony Robbins or something years ago about wearing a rubber band, and every time you had the negative thought, you would snap it and say no and stop.
Did your wrist go totally red?
Yes, it did. For the first week, and then it was amazing to see how many times my mind was going in that direction, and the negative self-talk out there.
Yeah, and there are some statistics that say that we have 65,000 thoughts a day, and that 65% of them are negative or non-productive. So
and that's it's stunning.
It is stunning. So that's why I'm like asking you about your poor wrist, because your mind was so you had to train yourself. So most users or most people that are listening probably would not be able to pull themselves into love if they were not feeling it towards somebody at that specific moment, or joy or peace. Those are hard. But the one emotion that you can always get into, no matter what state you're in, is gratitude, because there is always something to be grateful for. If nothing else, then say you got a broke foot. You can be thankful you didn't break a leg and have the bone sticking out,
Right, or that you didn't break both feet. There was just one. Right.
Right. So, because gratitude is like at 560, I think, or 550, 650, something like that. If you can use gratitude, no matter what state you're in, to pull you into a higher state, you actually raise your resonance and will allow better, I hate the words better and worse, but think of it as better for now, better things to come into your life. So if you are sitting there and you're having a horrible day, like I have a client that shall remain nameless, and he doesn't pay me. I do it for free. Kind of crazy, I think, but that's okay. So this client is trying to get a job, but every time he talked to me, it was about how everybody did him wrong in every job he's ever had. And so I've been working with him to get him to the point where he could recognize gratitude, because every time he interviewed for a job, it came out as negative. And he was having a difficult time getting a job. So by changing it around, because we actually broadcast to everyone around us, everyone, what we're feeling. And even if you don't say it, like you say, somebody says, how are you? And you say, good. They're reading your body language. They can tell whether you're really good or whether you're saying good. Okay?
That's true.
Because only like 7% of our communication is the words. Everything else is body language and the tonality and,
facial expressions.
Yeah.
You can say a million things without saying a word.
You can, and it's so subtle, you don't even realize you're doing it. Have you ever rolled your eyes and not realized you were doing it?
Yes, I have. And I was like, not a good thing.
I know.
It's like, yeah, they caught that. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble now.
I know. And I've done the same thing. So, and I think that everybody has done that, We don't even realize how much we're broadcasting. So, if you want different things, you got to change how you're doing it. And that's part of behaving, It's like, I'm not saying behave well or good. I'm saying just be aware of what you're doing, because you are broadcasting who you are more than you possibly think, and that can turn people away from you or bring them in towards you. So, it's one thing to be aware of.
I love that, because I actually co-authored a book, 365 Days of Gratitude, with a group of people, and it's so true, because I've been saved just in my life a few times from different car accidents, hit by a drunk driver, a kid coming off a highway, a girl pulling out of a spot, and then falling in a sinkhole. So wow. I felt like every time those things happened to me, I just became more grateful that I was alive, and I knew that the God, universe, whatever you call it, was like, had a plan for me to stick around. I felt like, okay, I guess my time is not up yet, and there's something else for me to do. And that's when I started to really dig into, do some soul searching to find out what it is I'm supposed to be doing. And this is how, I got to be where I am with this business. And because I feel like it's my job to help people who get really down to say, guess what? You don't have to be down there. Because it really sucks being down there, and you don't have to be there if you change your mindset.
Do you think, I have to ask you a question, so and please, if you don't want to answer it, that's perfectly okay. Do you feel like the accidents you were in was your soul calling to you, asking you to wake up?
I definitely think so, because I know when I was hit in '88, I was like getting out of control. I felt like I was partying too much and going out too much, and I felt like my life, I didn't have control over my life, that it was just kind of going off, running rampant. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't know the direction I wanted to go in. I went, I didn't go to school after high school. I wanted to stay out and go to work, and then I went to college when I was a little older, like 27. I went back, and then I went back again in my 30s to get certified as an image consultant at FIT. But going through all these different things, definitely that woke me up, because it was like, guess what, girl?
Okay, so I have another question. This is an auxiliary question to this. Do you believe that your soul was calling to you all along and you just weren't paying attention? And the only way it could get your attention was to have you to be in an accident so you'd wake up.
I definitely see something to that effect happening, without a doubt, because, like I said, there were so many different things going on in my life. And I even became like an atheist at one point, where I didn't have a belief in anything. I started to get very angry at God, thinking, how, I grew up as a Catholic and all that kind of stuff, but then you think, how could these bad things happen, blah, 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 and you get that pity party going. So I think that was part of it, and to finally get reconnected with Mother Earth, because I wasn't even connected to her anymore. I mean, it changed every aspect of my life. I got so, I got I really got my hands in the dirt, and I really started digging. And I think that helped me get back in touch with myself and the things I used to love to do as a kid, whether they were, art, playing, and I played drums, so I really got back into playing music more and really learning the craft. And there was just so many great things that happened along the way, even though I went through a lot of pain and struggle and financial problems. I mean, I just kept saying you're grateful to have all this other great stuff out there.
I think that follows a pattern that many, many women go through, and I'm sure men do too, but they do it a little bit different. We travel different paths, it seems like. And for women, it seems like we have to collect back the parts that we let go, where men are out there conquering the world. Our journey.
So funny you say that.
Why is that?
Why is it, and I was just saying something about how men's, thought processes are so different than females. I mean, I think we're so emotionally involved, and we don't just say yes or no answers. We give a description. We really delve into stuff where men just kind of shrug it off like, no big deal.
I know, it's kind of crazy. It's okay, It takes all kinds to run the world, so it's fine.
It's true. So I was just going to say, well, what if there are things in your life that you feel that, there's just no control over changing? What would you do with that?
Okay, so let me give you an example, okay? I got one of two. I'm not sure. I'll just start with this one, okay? I was married for the second time. Okay, I'll give you a bit of background. My youngest son was brain injured when he